Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Wrong show, Manga. This is my 2 bits.
I would have loved to review Dragon Ball than this crap.
Previously on my 2 bits. So, Comics got himself a time travel device. Yes. That'll work perfectly. Congratulations, Mr. Sands. You have won an all-expense-paid trip to our historic Canter Creek Western Resort.
Hey you, get out of the way!
Now, if I were Comic, where would I keep a time travel device? Where the fuck is that lever? It should not be this difficult to locate. I've checked Comic's room, the Demon's room, the Musician's room, an empty room mysteriously marked as Text Typer's room. Why disembodied text needs its own room is beyond me. The kitchen, the living room, the circ room, the review room, it is nowhere to be found. Last time I was here, well, the time before the last time I was here, when I had Comic imprisoned, he escaped using secret passages. Maybe there's some kind of, hidden storage room somewhere. I must find it. Well, guys, it's been a fun, few months? How long has it been?
Long enough to excuse your hiatus.
Anyways, I just checked out and it's time for me to head home. Before I go, you want to review part 2 of The Good, the Bad, and the Pony?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, you still have the Rage Incoming sign?
Yep, cue spoiler alert.
There's gonna be spoilers, so there.
So when we last left our heroes, AJ became Sheriff of Canter Creek. Following a recap of the previous comic by a prospector pony, we see the ponies in the saloon trying to plan a counter to Longhorn with Tumbleweed. But Tumbleweed is still being stubborn and refuses to be part of it.
Also, Twilight, they're male. They can't be cows. Don't bull me!
Well, I guess refusing to fight back was their downfall because guess what? The Bulls got the rights to the farm. Okay, I have to ask one thing. How the fuck is that possible? Wait, you mean to tell me that these ponies are easy to give up? Not to fucking mention that they've broken the law? Oh, but it gets worse, viewers. So expect this.
They betray the law. Law!
Well, at least RD has the right idea and rips up the papers, but genius Alicorn Starbutt puts it back together. Had the document been the only copy, ripping it up would have made it null and void. But there were too many pages left in the comic, and so Twilight had to bring back the plot device by fixing the document.
Gotta fill that in 20 pages or so somehow.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this in the previous part, but I might as well mention it here. There is a lot of drag-out fillers within this story. I mean, seriously, it's like they did not know where they go for most of the time. It almost feels like I'm watching a bad SpongeBob filler.
Boring, this is so boring, this is so boring, pointless filler. Anyways, they decide to stoop as low as crooks and con them into leaving their campsite and leaving the ranch property, while they continuously trick Longhorn into coming back to the clerk's office to refill out the paperwork, all the while impersonating the tied-up clerk. Silverquill listed off their crimes best.
Trespassing, trespass to chattel, fraud, tampering, impersonating an official, obstruction of process, assault, and false imprisonment.
Oh god, the hypocrisy in this. Now, I'm not saying for a realistic portrayal, but all the main 6 here are acting like idiots! Not to mention that I have to ask why all this is necessary. Oh wait, because the writing asked for it.
Now, like everyone else dealing with the legal system or waiting in line in the DMV, eventually Longhorn goes ballistic and decides to say, screw this, I'm doing this with violence.
But, back at the ranch, Twilight and friends have filed the ranch as a historic site. So when Longhorn breaks the rebuilt barn, they can actually arrest him. Because burning the barn down in the last part apparently wasn't illegal or something. I don't know. Then AJ gives back the sheriff's star to Tumbleweed. The end. What about Chili Pepper going missing? Shouldn't the plot have been about finding him? Wouldn't Chili Pepper returning have resolved the plot? If Chili Pepper was there, then Longhorn couldn't try to get the property because Chili Pepper would be there to say, no, I own this property. Seriously, he's still missing. I want to know where he is.
Oh, finally, it's over. And I'm gonna say this. Never in my entire life have I read something that insulted me in every page. Now, I do get the intentions, but however, they lost all of that for this stupid plot, and the worst part about it is that it pretty much just changed the objective right in the middle of the stupid story. I never seen writing like this fail so hard that I am legit angry about how they put this in the green light. I hate getting angry over a franchise because there are some things you expect, but this I have no shame to say that this is nothing but garbage. 5 out of 30 is my final score, and that is only because there are some decent moments. But to take this as parody or satire is an insult to the genre, and I think Power Ponies is a lot better than this piece of shit.
Such colorful language! Now, I'm a guy who enjoys a good western. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and one of my favorite comedies is Blazing Saddles, which there have been several references to in the later of this comic. I wanted to like this comic. I really did! There was a lot of good potential that could have been done with this storyline. Instead, we get nothing but backwards logic, antics don't really lead up to anything, and a lot of Twilight dyeing her hair black and while watching her friends get harassed by bull-headed jackasses.
This comic was worse than the last part. Am I allowed to give a score of 0? Okay. It wasn't that bad. This comic gets 1 jar of disappearing ink out of 10. That means overall, this arc, accounting for my scores and anime's, got a 29.2%, which is equivalent to, well, let's just say much lower than an F. Basically, it failed miserably. The heroes were at times more villainous than the so-called villains, and the villains were just poorly written and conveniently stronger than their last appearance. Not to mention their motives were just completely stupid. They wanted the ranch in order to have control over Canter Creek, but they already had control over Canter Creek because supposedly they were these big bad outlaws that everyone, including the sheriff, was afraid of. And then there was the pacing, which was piss poor and relied way too much on pointless filler. And the satire and parody of the piece was just cringeworthy. Even if they were aiming for it to be a farce, it didn't come off that way. Like, the characters looked like they were severely getting injured. In a farce, the slapstick is usually ignored by the other characters, or if it is noticed, the character involved just shrugs it off as if it didn't hurt them one bit. But a lot of the injuries caused in this comic looks like the characters would have to go to the hospital and be healing for several weeks. And if they were trying to have a moral in this comic, all hope was lost when they wrote the main 6, the heroes, having to bind and gag a city clerk just to have their plan work. So yeah. This was the worst arc written by Katie Cook, nay, the entire MLP comic series. It outranks Nightmare Rarity by a landslide. The sad thing is, I liked this arc at first. It almost outranked Reflections as my favorite arc. Then I saw Silverquill's video on the comic and gave it another read. After seeing all the things that Silverquill pointed out, and then seeing some other stuff with my own eyes upon my second reading, that's where I developed my distaste for it. It had so much potential. And then shat the bed. Well, that is our 3 bits on this comic and this arc. Tell us your 2 bits on it in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And head over to my channel if you want.
And mine as well.
Both links can be found in the description. And also remember you can support my 2 bits on Patreon. I've been Comic Sans.
I'm the AnimeWolfGamer, aka Mark the Wolf Pony, and I hope the next day will be even better.
I'm MangaKamen, and don't forget to examine your fandom.
Next time, I'll be reviewing, I guess since I've been gone so long, the holiday comic that was released last year. I'll always be a year behind in the holiday special comics, won't I? Shit! Tex, that's our train! Finally, at long last. He thought he could hide it from me. He was sorely mistaken. See you whenever. It's good to be home. Wouldn't you guys agree? Seems oddly cleaner in here than it should be. Oh, hey, one of my slippers. That's 2 down, 2 to go. Weird. Wonder how it got out here.